George Morgan here and Jack Pinner. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go!
Down through the Mercedes teammate.
Denoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Beresne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Borman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Good evening and welcome to PSGL, and we are back for round 6 in this shortened season. My name is Corey Brooks, one of your two commentators for this evening. Join with me in the booth, it's the one and only Orme. How are we doing, my friend?
Hello, Corey. Hello, everyone. Doing well, and it's time to get this season continued right here, right now, after a 1 week break as we let F1 Esports, F1 Sim Racing take over as well in their conclusion of the championship, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing in the final 4 rounds of the season. And as you mentioned, Corey, shortened season, so these rounds are critical in deciding who's going to take the championship this season.
Absolutely. It's going to be all elbows out and scrapping for all the positions, all the points that you can get, because you don't have many rounds to do it anymore. But nevertheless, we get ourselves over to the mighty Great Britain. Back in 1950, the first Formula One Grand Prix was held, and here it was in Silverstone circuit with its 18 turns, 5.891 kilometre long circuit, aided with its 2 DRS zones. But of course, one of those DRS zones coming out of the Chapel Curve, going down to Stowe Corner, gives you the mighty fine action and overtakes that you see and love all over the racing scene. So Silverstone is fantastic for it, especially in Stowe, maybe even getting Brave into the loop, going around Abbey even. Turn 1, sending it around the outside. If you can carry the speed, the slipstream, burn a bit of the battery, it's all for the taking. But Silverstone is certainly one of my favourites. And of course, it's my home Grand Prix, so I love to see it here. And there's always plenty of action to come.
Home Grand Prix for me as well. And whether it's the real thing that we're covering or even in the virtual world, it's always extraordinary. It's great to watch and it's great to see. And it delivers some incredible racing where basically every single corner we could see some side by side at today, which is not something that we can say at every single circuit. But these drivers do risk it all to try and grab every single crucial point that they can, and they need to when the margins are so close.
Oh, absolutely. Like I say, getting to this back end of the season, you need to get the points and do it now because there's not many rounds left to do it. We'll take a quick look at the calendar for what is yet to come. We go over to Great Britain here today. Then it's Singapore, Mexico, and then we finish off in Abu Dhabi. So, including this round, we have 4 rounds remaining. It's going to get dicey. It's going to get spicy. And the elbows are certainly out. Everybody is going to be fighting for those positions to finish off the championship strong.
Absolutely, and it's going to be really, really important for the drivers to do so in these final 4 rounds. And also these final 4 rounds will be the last in the partnership, the absolutely extraordinary partnership of PSGL and GT Omega. If you haven't seen the announcement, we will be parting ways at the end of this game cycle. So we're looking to end it in a strong way, and we're looking to end it in an amazing way, aren't we, Corey?
Yeah, absolutely, of course, with the amazing support that we've had from GT Omega helping us through the seasons past, and we bid farewell for what has been a fantastic partnership, and, well, on to the future, we say.
Absolutely. They have really helped us, of course, when it's especially come to our main tier in PC F1, but also in the E-Series that has developed over the last year or so as well. And it's been great to see how that has got on, and we wish them the best of luck. But we've still got some time to enjoy together. 4 rounds, as we mentioned, and it all starts right now with the 1 point that is available for pole position in this 18-minute qualifying session.
Absolutely. Oh, 18 minutes of qualifying. Who is going to take the top spot? We've seen the drivers in the earlier rounds. It's been up and down in terms of victories. Different race winners on the season so far. Could it be somebody else's time to shine here in Silverstone? It's all to set yourself up for the perfect pole position here today. Well, I think Volcher Steg has a qualifying ban as well, so will not be qualifying. Neither will Paul Adolphs. Maybe those two having qualifying bans because they have retired already, but don't let us keep you waiting any longer because we are about to go trackside.
We are indeed, and as you mentioned, Corey, we have got, and indeed when it comes to qualifying, Volcher Steg, Corey Dolph, Linus Donovan, and Ryan Gropp, 4 drivers, yes, you heard that correct, 4 drivers in total, so having quali bans for this session. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they will fight back in the race. So, Corey, we've already got drivers starting near the back who won't get a chance to show their true pace in this session. So they're going to be looking for a bit of a fight when it comes to our 26-lap race that comes our way later on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that one, It's going to be a scrap for them from the back to the front if they can do it, if they so wish it possible on themselves. I'm going to try and find who is leading the pack, and it's not Oleg, it is Cameron Dowds. He did win last time out in Austria before we had our week break. Could it be another victory for Cameron Dowds?
That's the question that we come into. As soon as a driver takes the win in the previous round, the question mark always becomes, can anyone stop them in the following race? And, well, it's definitely a big moment for the field, considering Cameron Dowds returning back to PC. His first PC race, coming back straight away from the console side, and immediately being in contention, immediately fighting all the way through the race, and then taking the win in what was an extraordinary brawl in the final stages of the race at Austria, with the 3 DRS zones on the 36th lap being the deciding ones for Cameron Dowds as he took the victory. He'll now be looking to replicate that coming in to our race here at Silverstone. So let's see how he's going to get on. First of all, though, attacking this absolutely brilliant circuit, and he's going through the opening few corners of it now, Corn.
Absolutely, he does get himself up towards the loop now, back around, pushes on through Aintree, gets onto the Wellington Straight, the first DRS aided zone of the circuit. It will be the fastest time in Sector 1, don't get mistaken from that, the first driver to get through and start setting some times, but he's looking fairly clean in Brooklands as he comes back around Luffield now. Not too much curb there, did keep it nice and tight, but still a bit of spacing between him and the apex as he comes through Woodcott. Flat to the floor now towards Corp's Corner, fire it round to the right, keeping it pinned in 7th gear, doesn't upshift to 8 yet, still pinned in 7th, now shifts it into 8 before we get into Maggots, Beckett's and the Chapel Curve. Comes through around Beckett's now needs to collect himself for the Chapel Curve before he's DRS aided once again all the way down to Stowe.
Absolutely, let's see how he's going to be able to get on as we go to the fast Stowe corner with Cameron Dowd, who is right now navigating his way to the final few corners. Whale coming up, and then it will be on to the Hamilton Straight, and he will be the first driver to set a time on the board, so it will be the quickest lap time, but he's going to set the benchmark for the rest of the field to be, and it's 1 minute 25.6, immediately displaced by Thomas Laminin, who goes to the front of the field. Now it's Leonardo Tornaroto as we look to Rens Thomasin as he comes across the line.
Rens Thomasin takes another fastest pole time by a couple of hundredths of a second. Anybody else to try and contend for it? Valentina Labella, Tudor Press can just fall short. Labella goes in P10th. In P10 we had a Williams cross the line. Tomas Laminen goes up into P5. And then the Red Bull, Zach Miles, P9 on the banker time. Light it up into P9. Your previous pole sitter from Austria, only good enough for P9 here today on the banker time. Still just under 14 minutes of qualifying to go. They were only the opening laps. Couple drivers not able to get a time on the board. You see Ryan Grob, Jerry Van Bussel, Felipe Salza, but Biega is on a timed lap. He is coming down through Vale now.
Let's see what Marcel Biega is going to be able to do. As we mentioned, 4 drivers in total with quality bands. He's not one of them. He's the driver going, though, to 3rd position, 2nd row at this stage for Marcel Biega.
Ryan Grob retiring, so 4 drivers are not going to qualify here in Silverstone in round 6 after the week break. Maybe some qualifying bans, some penalties to serve, or maybe just choosing not to. They'd rather start from the back of the pack. It's looking a little cloudy, so maybe it's just... Maybe a couple of drivers struggling with the tyre temperatures, although the laps are fairly close together, the track not being as warm as what they're used to.
That'll be a challenge for the drivers that are still tackling this session that is currently ongoing, as you mentioned. And Marcel Biega, right behind his teammate Tudor Pressakan. Renz Tomasin, though, has got the fastest time as it stands. We're taking a look at Felipe Sousa, a driver who is a winner of the F4 tier a couple of seasons ago. And he will be looking to now make his name stand out in this tier. That's exactly the goal. He bypassed this tier and he won that F4 championship, going straight up to F2 for 2 seasons. Didn't work out there, so he's in here with us in F3s and looking to try and get that confidence, try and win some races in this tier to try and get himself back in position for the promotion to F2 once again.
Absolutely, that's always the dream for every driver coming into F3. They want the promotions, they want to get higher, they want to be the best of the best. It's every driver's mindset. You've got to believe you are the fastest, you've got to believe you are the best and push and strive for it, or else you'll never get up there, you'll never achieve that goal. So it must be a true mindset as well as driver ability. A lot of the racing, we see mind games and the mental games coming into play throughout a lot of the Grand Prix in the past, but so again, for Felipe Sousa, looking to get those promotions. The F4 previous champion, like you say. Not looking for it in F3 here, but still looking to try and prove his worth for a Tier 2 promotion.
Yeah, every single performance that these drivers put in, they are under the eyes of development teams as well, which means that performing in this arena is critical. You have teams looking for the next big talents, and this is the best location, the best league to showcase that all of the eyes go to here on a Thursday evening. And it means that these drivers are put under immense pressure, and it gets even more harder when you arrive to the F2 tier, and then drivers know that they are one step away from the F1 opportunity, which, well, I was covering the F2 tier a couple of seasons ago, and we did see drivers get that one-off appearance when the PCF1 tier was running. But it's going to be a big opportunity for those drivers when they do get to that level, but they then constantly need to perform, put in the preparation, and that's a big thing that the drivers immediately need to start learning as well. When the margins are so close, if you do have a driver who has put in a lot of preparation, it is definitely going to go in their favour with how close the margins already are.
Well, it's like you say on promotions, looking for like the likes of the higher tiers. Joris Krozen, a name that comes to mind for me, a commentator one of his previous championships, and then the guy sits himself in the Haas in F1 esports. You know, just every driver improving and excelling themselves up in the field. It's the aim of the game to get to that top spot, and you do see it happen.
Yeah, brilliant from Krozen as well. Momentarily taking pole position 1 week ago at the Sao Paulo qualifying, just being displaced right at the end. That was an extraordinary qualifying ending. We're looking to see, though, how our ending is going to be to this F3 tier at Silverstone. And we're taking a look at Thomas Laminin, the driver currently in 6th. His teammate is the driver provisionally getting the 1 point for pole position. Laminin will have something to say about that, though, but he's just down by just under 1/10 of a second as he goes into the 3rd sector.
Yeah, not looking like it's going to be any form of improvement unless he can pull over a 10th back on his time here in Sector 3. He doesn't, dives into the pits, not happy with that lap. Is that Napadovsky? It's not. It will be Cameron Dowds who is going to complete this lap. He is currently a 10th up on his time, but he still has 3 corners to navigate. There could still be room for improvement, but for now, could he be looking like an improved time? Could he be pole time? It's not. He falls just short, but it is a massive improvement on his time. Just under 2 cents of a second. Slots himself behind Renz Tomasin in P2 before Tudor Pressakan sets the new time to beat. plants that Mercedes up to the top. It's a 25.382 to beat. Has anybody got that pace? I think there's somebody off the track. That's a Ferrari off the track. Is that Alexi Cavero? It was.
Yeah, slightly having a little moment there as well. More and more lap times coming into play. Dimas, the driver, currently in 7th position. Pressakan is going to be really pleased with the lap time that he's been able to put. And he was able to set a personal best last time when it came to qualifying with a 3rd position at the Red Bull Ring 2 weeks ago. And he's looking now to upgrade that all the way to pole, and he was the driver who also won the opening race on the circuit until he got that disqualification, which gave the win to Tony Atala, who's been promoted all the way up to F2.
Zach Miles making a slight improvement on his time there, but it will be Biega, the next driver, I think, to set a time lap. I was just having a little sneaky peek on the Mercedes as he comes through Luffield now and gets on the power up towards Woodcote. There's an improvement for Marcel Biega, but I don't think it's enough to contend for pole time. He needs to get a 10th to even have a sniff at the top 3. But he was, well, about 200ths up on his time as he came out of Sector 1. But now he goes through Maggotts and Beckett's. Can he get any sort of improvement through these set of twisty turns? You know, you need to be very careful. If I'm not mistaken, you don't even brake. At one point, it's just a lift and just a slight rotation to the right coming through Beckett's. But he does finish his Sector 2 and now towards Stowe Corner. Fire that round to the right-hand side. Try and keep your foot on the accelerator and maintain the speed. You don't want to drop too much. You need the exit speed to set yourself up for Vale coming through the final 2 turns now. Out of club we go. Is it an improvement for Biega? Oh, it's Paul! By 1,000ths of a second! Oh, look at the margins between teammates!
Close. But it was close, if you remember, between those 2 drivers at Spa. And it's getting even closer here at Silverstone. Biega just tipping his teammate Pressakan to that pole position as it stands. Still 6 minutes to go. Still an opportunity for other drivers to get themselves into play as they try also to be contenders to grab that point. And as you mentioned, with less rounds, at 1 point for pole is even more vital in this championship.
Your mic keeps going loud and quiet. It's very strange. I've adjusted your volume earlier on to try and compensate for this when you go quiet, but you've gone quiet again.
Well, the technologies have had a 2-week break from PSG, and I don't think it liked it. So I think it's all messing around right now. As I'll try get that sorted for us as soon as possible, because we don't want to affect the coverage of this extraordinary that is taking place on this circuit as we look to Valentino Labella.
I will run us on with Valentino Labella, the current driver, sat at the bottom of the timing tables. Everybody else below that is choosing not to qualify or is facing a qualifying ban. But is Labella looking at some form of improvement now, finishing Sector 1? Not much of an improvement there. He's down on the time by 18,000ths of a second. So maybe there is an improvement to come in Sector 2. Still Sector 3 to go also for Valentino. Can they push on through as we exit Woodcote now? Flat to the floor, trying to keep the car straight as possible before you need to flat through Corpse Corner. Don't take too much curb. If you hit that red sausage, you'll send your back end for a spin off into the outside of the track, pick up that invalidation, or maybe even something worse and end up stuck in the gravel as we push on through towards the Chapel Curve now. Oh, it's invalid! How has that happened there? Maybe just cutting Beckett's a little bit too much for Labella, struggling here to get a decent time on the board.
Absolutely. Valentino Labella pushing on hard as well, we have to say, and it's going to be Labella not with the time that he wanted at all, as the rest of the field now come back into the pit lane and they're going to prepare for the final run where the circuit will be at the best. Not if your name is Aleski Carrera. He's pushing on and he's going to be heading on to a lap around Silverstone.
Absolutely, flat to the floor down towards Abbey now. Fire it, turn around to the right. Catch yourself, trying to keep the car as straight as possible. Don't put too much drag on it to get that top speed as you come on the brakes once again into Farm and back around the the loop and on towards Aintree here before we hit with the Wellington straight. The DRS aided straight down towards Brooklands. Brooklands an overtaking hotspot with that DRS. You can see some moves around the outside because if you can keep yourself side by side, it switches to the inside here and now, which is Lovefield. And if you can maintain that inside line, you will get the power down a little bit better to push on towards Woodcote and get that position guaranteed. Alexi Cavero looking to flat to the floor towards Copse Corner now, trying to get as much time as possible in on this lap. Currently sits down in P15. Needs to at least try and get in that top 10 to guarantee the best race start possible. Make the capitalistic moves in that lap 1, whereas everybody goes barreling down Abbey, barreling through Farm Curve. And before they get onto the brakes, he's a 10th and a half up. So this will propel him at least up into P10 or scraping P10 as it stands. Just needs to get a little bit more,
Just needs to push that little harder. Final few corners. Come up, the Ferrari man, as he goes on to the Hamilton straight, and we wait for the effort across the line.
Oh, he does.
It is P10.
He does. Saw that one coming there as he got through Sector 2. He was scraping the P10 cusp as Jerry Van Bussel, but Van Bussel is on a lap. He's not. He's on a double lap, or he's going back to the pits. Running very, very slowly is the Alpine. Into the pits he goes. Alexi Cavero takes that P10 for now. And we see drivers behind Buba, Zach Miles, Lighty, Felipe Souza, Valentino Labella, all yet to set a time to try and contend against Alexi Cavero. Van Bussel is done and out for the count. Will not set another qualifying lap.
We are looking at Buba, who is currently on an out lap then, as he navigates his way through Maggots, Beckett, and then we get over to the Chapel curve and onto now the Hanger straight, as Buba, currently in 12th, will want to try and find an improvement like Cavero did to jump himself up the order and hopefully jump himself into that top 10 to be in contention. We're about to get the battle for pole position to see who's going to be taking the bonus point and the best view for the 26th lap race. That will be coming up in a few moments time. First of all though, let's get going with this qualifying session and see who's going to be our pole sitter.
We'll just watch Buba go on for his lap as he's coming through the first sector now. Harsh on the brakes, fire it around to the right here before you need to collect yourself and get yourself back around the loop. This is where it can get a little bit treacherous. You want to get on the power as early as possible. Don't run it a little bit too wide and unsettle the car. Again, turning it around Aintree. You don't want to hit that curve and get yourself unsettled as you get the rear wing open to set yourself up for Brooklands. Fires it round to the left hand side. He's up on the Delta so far, finishes sector 1 and back around Lovefield now for Buba. The Aston Martin driver looking to potentially jump up in the order, looking at what could be P6 or top 5 if we can get there. He's currently just a 10th up as we saw in sector 1. Is there any improvement to come in sector 2 as he's just finished Copse Corner? Now towards the famous, the iconic, the lovely Maggots. Keep it calm and collected. Back around Beckett's now, fire around to the right hand side, not too much curve, doesn't run it too wide before he comes back out of the Chapel curve and opens that rear wing up, still just under a 10th up on the Delta. No improvement there in sector 2, just staying level on his time with his improvement from sector 1, but now through Store Corner we go before it's flat to the floor all the way down towards Vale. Harsh on the brakes, round to the left, try and keep yourself calm, collected, don't lose the traction, get on the power as early as possible, out of the final curve on the Hamilton straight. Crosses the line for a P6. Did manage to get another 10th and a half out of sector 3.
UMass moving up to 6th position, so immediately displaced. As we take a look at Biega, Pressacan is down by 0.2 of a second, not what the Mercedes driver wants. Mercedes 1-2 we're looking at this stage. Can anyone spoil their party? Pressacan's into the pit lane, he'll be done. Biega though will try and further improve his advantage to take it further away from the field.
Biega now around into Vale, trying to keep himself calm and collected. Just a few corners to go on the penultimate corner. Cameron Dowes takes a new pole position time. Can Biega stop him? Yes, he can. It's a 25.230. Does anybody else have a response? Yes, they do. We're Rents to Masson. A 25.157. The Williams takes the top spot. It's another pole for Rents to Masson, and we'll get that extra point for qualifying on the pole front row. Taking that P1, you get that 1 one extra point. Nobody else can contend. Napadovsky is 5 seconds down on the delta, being the last driver to come around. Everybody else has crossed the checkered flag, and that will do us for qualifying. Tomasin takes pole, Biega just falling short, and Cameron Dowds on for P3.
What an incredible late effort there. And it was a brilliant lap originally from Dowds, immediately displaced and then displaced again. That is absolutely what we love about the endings of PSGL qualifyings. We love the endings of qualifyings and we love the racing. And I'm happy to say that's exactly what we have coming up in a few minutes time once we get the lobby restart and all of that sorted. So then we can crack on and get going for what will be an exciting race. And Corey, I mean, we've been looking forward to it for a while, and it's finally going to happen.
It is indeed. Silverstone always brings a lot of action, a lot of overtaking opportunities. It's just one of the best tracks for racing. It's got to be the home of Formula One, to say the least. It's fantastic, and of course my home Grand Prix. I'm not just biased to it because I'm British. It is genuinely one of the best tracks for racing opportunities. The overtakes, the manoeuvres, the corners, you can pull off some amazing moves here.
You can. It's endless. The opportunities around the circuit are endless. There is so many places where you can put in overtakes and make some moves, and what it leads to is absolutely box office racing throughout the entire duration of the race. Seeing some of that as well take place, and it's going to be an interesting battle when it comes to our championship as well, as loads of drivers try and take some step forwards.
It's very strange. I haven't seen a qualifying order. That was rather strange. I didn't see a finishing order. Did you see that? Did that appear? It didn't, did it? No. We didn't get a final classification on qualifying, so we can't run down on what the official classification of qualifying was. That was rather peculiar. But we are on with the lobby restart, and we are going to have a quick word from our amazing sponsor, as our partnership will end at the end of the season. But nevertheless, they get their shout out at the lobby restart as always. Let's hear it for GT Omega. And we are back in the commentators' booth with what was a very, very strange ending to qualifying. We didn't get to go down the final classifications. I just hope that somebody was quick enough to manage to get them for the lobby restart in terms of screenshotting that. I don't know if they did, but that may have caused some complications there. The game with a little bit of an issue. It's known for its slight little difficult bugs. It's why we have these restarts to get collisions back on and to help mitigate these little tiny things that could go potentially wrong within the race. But nevertheless, we can have a little quick rundown of the standings, and you can see exactly where everybody is and who's fighting for what.
Absolutely. It's a really close championship, isn't it, Corey?
It is indeed. Tudor Pressicon leading the way, but it's only a 7-point difference to Tony Hatala, who has been promoted. You will not see Hatala race anymore in the F3, sits himself in the F2, but there we go. Like we say, it can happen. Drivers get promoted, they move up by showing the potential. Tomas Lamanen will be the next contender, but it is a 16-point gap before he's even within close of striking back towards Tudor Pressicon. It could be Pressicon's season to shine, but with 4 rounds to go, including this one, there's still some places to pull back some points.
Indeed, there is loads of places to pull back some points. Momentum switches for a lot of these drivers as well. They find themselves with a run of poor races, sometimes a run of good races, and that goes a long way in deciding our championship as well. And talking about promotions, of course, I always love, whenever I get the privilege to commentate on this tier, I always love making sure that I do mention that we are going to get 1 or 2 promotions every single season midway through. Because there's always, I feel like in this tier, a driver that just excels and is always up there and always just finds themselves slightly ahead of the rest, and they get their promotion mid-season too. F2, or if they were left in here, then they would just absolutely dominate the field, which we don't want. We want close racing. We want to see who is the quickest at this pace level and who could be the next stars when it comes to F2 and also F1.
Absolutely. These drivers looking to show their name, show their racing talent, and to get that promotion. We can't stress it enough. It's what they're all fighting for. It's what they all want. It's what they all need. It's what they're all hoping for. When in terms of the standings, who else could be within contention of taking a championship away? That's what I want to know. Two drivers, 16 points gap. You've got Lamon and you've got Alexander Demas. Lighty, potentially. He was your pole sitter last time out in Austria, but couldn't convert that into a victory. Could maybe, potentially, come back here in Silverstone?
I mean, there's so many drivers. We, of course, have the different point system here in PSGL. And with that, of course, we do see drivers still losing out on loads of points. And that 16-point gap, I mean, if we do see a win come in today as well from Thomas Lamminen, and he is tied on points with Presakan, if he, of course, doesn't get the fastest lap. If he just gets the points for the race win and Presakan wasn't to score, then that's the way that will go. So it's very easy to see a glitch. And when you've got so many drivers in contention, if a driver does have a bit of front wing damage, if a driver does have a big moment in the race, they will find themselves dropping down, and there will be other drivers there to capitalize and immediately go on through, meaning any sort of mistakes or big moments for the drivers do get punished very harshly.
Yeah, they do, very much so, especially with how close that the grid actually is. If you think about it, qualifying, it was all within a second. Everybody is going to be within that DRS. It's going to be scraps after scraps after scraps, corner after corner. It's just the way things are with this current pace level. There is no room for margin, no room for error. The slightest mistake costs you massively. Getting that slight wing damage, losing that downforce, and you start to fall away through the corners. And there's plenty of corners here to lose that track, lose that speed, to oversteer, maybe run it wide and just go outside the lines, pick up a 3-second penalty. That's also race destroying with how close the grid is. 3 seconds puts you straight to the back of the field.
Yeah, any sort of mistake for the drivers, as we've already mentioned and as we've already touched on, do get punished harshly. If it's qualifying, if it's one little wide moment, that is the back of the grid. That is absolutely the back of the grid. And any sort of moments in the race, drivers will find themselves losing out on multiple positions because we're used to the DRS trains and everyone being right behind each other. And I think we're definitely going to get that around this circuit. But these drivers don't just sit in those DRS trains, which you might be used to, for example, in real life when we get them. But no, they're going to make the moves. They're going to dive bomb, and they're going to take every single opportunity, especially if you are near the back of the field. You're going to want to try and get yourselves higher up the order, and you need to get yourself higher up the order if you want to be a contender when it comes to our race.
Absolutely. One driver that is catching my eye, Cameron Dowds, winning last time out in Austria, up there in contention for pole here tonight in Silverstone, could be favourite to watch for the race victory. It's all about the race pace. 26 laps they must navigate. It's not just that one lap pace. Get you through itself through all 26 laps. Take that victory away. My eyes are on Cameron Dowds. Not seen much of Dowds. Obviously, I've not been in PSGL for as long as some people. Not been in other of the bigger leagues that he races in for as long as other people. He's known around apart, but to me, this is a new name, and I'm impressed from what I see so far.
Yeah, I had the same feeling when I first covered him in 2023 in PSGL. He's a driver who is really, really rapid. A driver which is really, really rapid and always puts in those amazing performances. And he's definitely a talented driver that everyone has to keep an eye on. A fan favorite as well. He's, of course, got his dad supporting him all the time in the chat, which is also great to see. So really, really great to see how Cameron does, and his return back to PC 2 weeks ago it was, and winning his first race back on PC. That was an extraordinary performance, and I absolutely loved seeing that in the commentary box as well that time around. And as we mentioned, he could be in to do something similar today. Had so many drivers in contention, as it was Austria. It's a short circuit, 3 DRS zones. There were so many drivers in contention, but he was the one who came out on top. and he played the mind games in all of the battles to perfection last time out. He'll need to do so once again here at Silverstone if he wants to take victory.
There you go. You can see the previous results just displayed on your screen. Cameron Dodds taking that surprise victory as he comes back into Formula One racing here in the PSGL F3 tier, taking that surprise victory. What a story that would be to see Cameron Dodds take 2 on the bounce after his surprise return, after he comes back into F3, wins in Austria, wins in Silverstone. It's the makings of a movie, you'd like to say it. Lighty being the pole sitter, but could not convert that into a race victory, which is unfortunate to see. You know, it's that 1 lap pace. It doesn't matter. You can have the 1 lap pace. You can find that lap over the 1 lap pace in qualifying, but can you use that in the race? Can you convert it after what could be a dramatic turn of events? Well, the drivers are readied up. We are about to go racing. We are about to go trackside. We're just waiting for everything to get underway. I'm excited for this one, Omi. Very, very excited. Silverstone certainly brings energy, high action, and some certainly loud moments. Screaming down the microphone, screaming at my monitor over the overtakes that you may see coming your way.
Yeah, absolutely. Luckily for me, I think I've got the microphone sorted, so that's also quite good. When we do get to those crazy moments, just so you don't see me going down and down and down, the louder I get throughout this race, because I think we definitely need the volume to try and stay the same when we are getting those wild moments that you've just mentioned.
Absolutely. Things are going to go absolutely crazy, but I'm not going to keep you here much longer now. We are going trackside as the drivers get themselves ready. Setups on, strategy set, fuel load put in the tank. Let's see what happens for 26 laps at Silverstone. Oh, and it's lights. 3, 4, 5 lights. The grid is hot. The drivers are ready, and it is go, go, go here in round 6 for Silverstone. It's a good getaway for Rens Thomas and Marcel Bieger's potentially is ready for Cameron Dowds. What a start for Dowds as he jumps up into P2 coming into turn 1 already. Now it's Bieger, maybe under attack from Presic and his teammate. No, he's trying to fight back on Cameron Dowds. Side by side, taking that outside line. It's Mercedes versus Haas. Can Dowds defend it? He's certainly going to try as we come up onto the Wellington straight now. No DRS here. They're still side by side. They're scrapping it out, sending it all out. But Cameron Dowds does come out on top. As Sousa now goes for a big send on Presic, sends it through into Brooklands, and now coming around Luffield, the Red Bull teammate Zach Miles lurking behind, looking to press on through. Can he do anything? Can he fight on? We have Lighty moving up the order side by side there with Tomas Laminen. Laminen's falling down the order.
Very nearly 3 wide into Cops. That was super tight. Is off the road. Goes Carrero in the Ferrari. He's going to rejoin. We're very nearly going to be 3 wide. Carrero's going to keep his footing up against Lighty, and he is going to get that position as they navigate their way through Maggots and Beckett. Lighty will not want to give it up, and you can see that with how much he was pushing his rival through as we go onto the hangar straight. It's getting super tight. Biega thinking about a move as we go single file for most of the field. Not if your name is Jerry Van Bossel. He tries to get his way through, very nearly losing the car, and what he will lose is the possession of 14 because Jerry Van Bossel is going through.
Oh my word, what an opening lap here in Silverstone. Well, we've been hyping it up all along about the action. You're going to see the action still going for Yannick Schmidt and Alexander De Mas out of Vale. Well, Yannick Schmidt will move on ahead. The Alpine is not there contending back yet. Let's take a quick look at the tyres. Everybody on the medium compound, apart from the Red Bulls, they've both gone onto the softs. Sousa and Miles opting for that first opening stint on the softs, maybe suspecting a safety car to come, but we shall not jinx it. We do not want to see it. But wow, what an opening lap. And there's still more action to come as Felipe Sousa now goes for a move on Biega and darts on through. Is there a switchback for Biega? No, there's not. He just can't get the traction down. It's softs versus mediums, and the softs certainly have the upper hand.
The softs are the ones that will be attacking and trying to overtake around this circuit right now. Tomasin has the lead. Dowd is in second, but for how much longer? The Red Bulls are the ones that will be going on the charge at this stage, but the softs will degrade quicker as Miles is getting through, using the advantage of the soft tyres to get through at a part of the circuit that we usually go single file. But the Red Bulls are fighting their way through at this stage. Viega will try and fight back, but he'll tuck back in. He knows that at this stage, he just needs to stick with all of the other drivers. He needs to stick in this train that is for this race lead. As we look at Ryan Grubb, we look at Wojciech Steck, two drivers who had quali bans coming into this, and they are the ones that we were referencing.
Oh, we lost Omi. His mic completely died, but they were the ones that we were referencing earlier on about not qualifying, fighting from the back, trying to give it ultra aggression to push on through. Omi's mic is completely gone, is completely disconnected. In terms of tyres, somebody's asking for it. Everybody's on the mediums, except for the Red Bulls. It's a double sauce for the Red Bulls. If they go into the box, who's going to go one lap longer? That's what I want to know. Marcel Biega's looking for a move, just couldn't quite get there. Stuck his nose out a little bit on Zach Miles, but you can see the advantage the soft tyres have at this stage in the race. Look at Salza. Look at the way he is closing up to the back of Cameron Dowdser.
Absolutely, absolutely. He is getting super, super tight. Apologies. Now, that wasn't on the technology. That was just me being too excited. And I actually physically disconnected it accidentally there. So apologies for that one. But yes, I was mentioning about the quali bans that they both had. So they're now looking to fight through in the race. Oleg Napadovsky risking it in the Haas up alongside Yannick Schmidt. And Yannick Schmidt is going to hang on to that position.
Oh wow, brave, bold moves there from the Haas driver. Oleg Napadovsky sending it all out, throwing his, risking it all here in these final closing rounds. Like we said, not many rounds to do it. 4 rounds left, including this one. You need all the points that you can get to propel up in the standings. It's, is it Tomas Lamanen? Oh no, it's Tudor Presican leading the championship. He's currently 6th in the order there, so he's going to score some points. If anybody within that 16-point gap, like I think it's Lamanen, who needs the 16 points to get himself right there with Tudor Presican. Presican cannot score points, but otherwise he will just further extend that lead. But we are on a reduced points basis here in PSGL. That's just how things are with the point system. You know they're reduced, so there's not much of a gap that they can gain.
Indeed, 16, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, and then counting down all the way to 1 is the way that we do it here in PSGL. That is super tight. In the background, you've got Dimas, who's up against Oleg Napadovsky. Oleg Napadovsky, who just was passed by Yannick Schmidt. Now we've got another contender on the exit, and that was super tight between the two of them as Napadovsky's ahead.
Oh, maybe contact, or maybe Alexander Damastos getting a bit too throttle happy. He's going to send it to the inside of Cop's corner. Oleg Napadovsky needs to defend, needs to try and pull back ahead, and he does so. Just manages to defend that position away from Damas. Alexander being brave there, but he now has Buba lurking on that rear diffuser. Could be well within the striking distance. He's not, he's lost out. Look at that. Alexander Damas is on full attack, but now goes on through goes on Buba. Is there any contact between the two as the side-by-side through Stowe corner? Not quite. Oleg Napadovsky defending against Buba. Wow, this is dramatic. A lot of action going on through the field. Moves being made all the way through. We see the Ferrari swapping positions side-by-side through Vale and now through Club. Oh, Cavero's not letting his teammate go through. Tonelato's being shown the hard shoulder, being made to make it the hard way. Forced the long way around. Still side-by-side through the opening sector. I think Cavero's still going to defend it. He is. They're still side-by-side coming through Sector 1. This is insane stuff, insane racing. Teammates, what does it matter? They're still going to fight it out, but now it's the DRS battles.
Absolutely, that's super tight between the Ferrari. Souders going on the charge. Felipe Souders gone from 3rd to 1st in a couple of corners. Incredible stuff on the Brazilian driver as he takes the lead. Tomasin in 2nd. Dowds dropping down. That was super tight stuff between the 3 of them, and Salza makes his way up through the order. That's one Red Bull who's gone on the charge. You can see directly behind Cameron Dowds that you've got Zach Miles, who is going to risk it into Maggots and Beckett. He wants to get through on the soft combat of tyres. Millimeter stuff. Big moment at brinkmanship between these two drivers. Can the Red Bull get the power down? He's sliding all over the road, and Dowds will hang on to the place, and it could open the door for Biega, who's going to be using the DRS and also the battery to try and make the move.
Oh, he's side by side there. Biega trying to push up through on Zach Miles. Zach Miles was trying to get through, but he's lost a position. Maybe losing 2 now to Tudor Presican. Presican's going to take the capitalistic move. He's to the outside line now that it was an inside line. Switch to the outside, but look at Yannick Schmidt behind trying to capitalise on that scrap ahead. He's certainly going to. He makes it through on Tudor Pressican doesn't quite get through on Zach Miles. Zach, even though he's on the softs, he's still getting battered by these mediums. Look at Yannick Schmidt with a big send to the inside. Switches to the outside line now as Zach Miles will benefit from that. And Pressican looking to move on through as well through entry onto the Wellington Straight. They've all got the rear wing open. Nobody's losing out. It's a huge DRS train from P1 all the way down to P19. Look at the scrap. Yannick Schmidt through on Zach Miles as well. No, Zach Miles, he's still trying to fight it back through Luffield now. Onto Woodcock. Are they going to be side by side? Certainly somebody's going to have to back out of it. But Yannick Schmidt's not going to do it and does take the long way around and get on through before Cops. Wow. Oh my word. I'm about to lose my voice with this action.
We're only on lap number 6. We're only on lap number 6. That wouldn't be the best thing, but we can't do much when the drivers are delivering such great action. I mean, we're missing so many great moments because there's so many other moments going on. That is why, as we see Tomasin trying to retake the lead, that will be an easy move. Will it be an easy move further back? Schmidt is ahead of Pressican, and you've got Zach Miles going backwards on the soft compound of tyres. Not what he wanted, as the rest of the field now make their way through down into Wales, but we had a very tight moment further back as well on the last lap, so loads of battles going on. Schmidt has to try and get back inside the 1 second to the top 4. Being inside the 1 second is critical for the race, as these drivers still try and be a contender to who's going to win this.
This is crazy electric stuff. Look at that, though. A bit of a moment for Tudor Pressican. Barely keeping on. Yannick Schmidt has broken outside of that 1 second out of the DRS. Lighty's looking to make a move on Tomas Laminen. The side-by-side coming through onto the Wellington Straight. Still side-by-side. Tomas Laminen's not going to let that go easy. The Williams driver's still pushing on through. Still side-by-side, but it looks like Lighty's going to try and send one on Buber as well. He's forced to the outside. Tucks back into the line, into the order. There's no way you can get through there. You don't want to lose too much time and risk losing that DRS, as Yannick Schmidt has lost it and will be under very much an attack down that hanger straight.
That is absolutely the case for Yannick Schmidt. You can see Tudor Pressican tucking in very closely behind as we go through these fast couple of corners. Cameron Downs, the driver, currently in 3rd position as we open the DRS. This will be tight stuff between our top 3 as we head down to Stowe Corner.
Is Cameron Dowd's going to go for it as well? Yes, he is. He's looking to try and get through on Rens Tomasin. Side by side, still side by side coming on the exit, but he does have the upper hand with a better traction. Pushes on through, does Cameron Dowd. He's having a beautiful race. Could be contending for the race victory here. You saw it in qualifying. Although Salzer's on the soft compound tyre, he's just not gapping the mediums like he wants to.
Absolutely not what he wanted, as well, as we are going to see Jerry Van Buttel have a little disconnection, and that's not what he wanted. That will be super tight. Carrera to the inside. Carrera trying to make the move on Laminin. Laminin, who needs to capitalise today, the driver in 3rd in the championship. He needs to. Getting a good result to try closing on Pressican, but Pressican is the driver that is directly ahead as well. That'll be late on the brakes. That's Napadovsky, who is going to get past Zach Miles. Won't be the only one. Laminin trying to make the move as well. Can he send it all the way around the outside? If he can't, that will leave him vulnerable to Carrera. It is pass or be pass stuff as we head to Cops Corner. It's going to be super tight between this group. Who's going to come out in front? Will they keep it single file? They're practically pushing each other through as Buber runs slightly wide due to how closely they were following each other as we go through Maggot and Beckett's.
Absolute bumper barging, just a huge train following each other as if they are all connected and interlocked together on tow hooks. This is crazy stuff from the pack here. You can see them battling all the way down now on the hanger straight. That DRS side by side looking for the slipstream. The Red Bull's going to send it in the middle. He's going to thread the needle. They're off the track. Zach Miles with a controversial moment's taken 3 cars with him. That's Laminen. That's Napadovsky. That's Zach Miles all off the track. That is crazy stuff.
That is wild. And when it's come to the game, I haven't seen that many drivers go straight off the road in that fashion. Absolutely wild stuff. That is going to be a big moment, and that is going to be the end of Miles's race. That's going to be the end of Laminin's race. And Laminin, a driver, as we mentioned, who's the nearest contender to Pressican in the championship. That'll be a big moment for his race as Labella also retires. That's 4 drivers gone by lap number 9. Jeg is in the pit lane, Grob is in the pit lane, and you're also going to see Ryan Grob retire as well. Wild stuff at Silverstone.
Absolutely crazy stuff. In one lap, in one sector, we've just lost 4 drivers. That is unreal. What was a big controversial move from Zach Miles, tried to thread the needle, just tyre hooked Napadovsky and Laminen and took them both with him off the track. That was crazy stuff. But we're now back to the front field. Who could be changing for the lead? Cameron Dowds is leading. Felipe Sousa doing well on the soft compounder tyre, unlike his Red Bull counterpart Zach Miles, who was really struggling as we got through the later laps into the first stint. When is the time to swap? You've still got at least, I don't know, I'd say give it 2 more laps until you want to consider those mediums.
Absolutely. Still some time, still some life that they can use out of these tyres, and they will absolutely try and do so to give themselves the best opportunity when it comes to the late attack they'll be hoping for near the end. You've got a train going from 1st to 7th. That's for our race lead. You've got Booba in 8th position, and right to the back of that train is Lighty, who is in 11th. And we've lost quite a lot of our contenders from this race, as that's a big moment as Lighty, our pole sitter from last round, just tries to get his power down and power applied. But it does mean the race has got a little bit more calmer, as we don't have all of the drivers. Here we've reduced by quite a few, and it means that the drivers now, after seeing all of that, they will know that they have to take a bit of the calmer approach. They know now there is loads of points on offer. They need to be there to capitalize, and they don't want to end off the road in a similar way.
Well, now everything's calmed down a little bit. Booba's going to have to push like hell to try and close back up to that gap, unless he can make a pit stop strategy work in his favour. Potential undercut to gain back those 4 seconds. No, we didn't see any form of safety car, which is quite surprising, as we do see a change for the lead as Rens Thomassen now might need to defend against Cameron Dowds. Dowds gets that outside line. Dowds has got the traction. We know if you get that outside line out of store, it is the favourable place to be, because look at Dowds take the lead from Rens Thomassen.
So, Dowds at the front of the field as we go on to the start-finish straight once again, and it's going to be lap number 11 that comes our way. Dowds, as you mentioned, at the front. Thomassen in second. Viego got past Felipe Sousa, who drops down on those soft compound of tyres, now starting to degrade. Dimas will be the next driver to try and get ahead of the P4 man as we now hit the Wellington Straight. And with that comes the DRS to see whether we are going to see any of the moves. Looks like we're going to get actually Pressakan trying to find a way through. So it's not going to be Dimas, the next driver attacking Sousa. It's going to be Tador Pressakan with his late move to the inside as he is up to 5th place.
I've got to say, from Pressakan, that was kind of cold. He just timed that perfectly, late on the brakes and just slotted in that gap in front of Alexander Damas and just in between Felipe Sousa as well. That was a beautiful little overtake to see, very smooth and very what's the word for it, consistent. Looks nice when you see something like that, just flows nicely. Nice clean overtake, textbook stuff.
We love that. We absolutely adore those type of overtakes, especially in a race where we have seen it right up to each other, where it's basically been banger racing as well at times. It was definitely great to see some of those moves coming in, and we are going to see the pit stop from Sousa, as it's very clear that the soft tyres were degrading with the drivers that were able to make quick work of him. The rest of them will go on to the 12th tour as we go through Abbey Corner, and it's Dowd still at the front of the field, but you've got a train, as we mentioned, that currently goes down to P6. Not what the drivers would have thought at this stage, and basically for the other drivers who aren't in this train, they're going to need a wild strategy, which is going to see their tyre wear run out at the end, or they'll be hoping for a safety car, which I'll be honest, we haven't got much of this season, and these drivers have been behaving quite a bit when it comes to that.
You mentioned wildcard, Omi, right at the correct time, because Booba has gone on to the soft compound tyres. I just picked up the graphic so we could see where people are in terms of tyres. We saw Wojciech Steg's had a moment in a box, so he's on the hard compound tyre going long, trying to make it the distance. Booba boxed, following in Felipe Sousa on the mediums as expected with 15 laps to go. Booba playing it brave, has gone for the soft compound tyres. But with a lighter car burning off some of that fuel load, may be able to go those couple laps longer.
Absolutely, they will be able to go longer than what they were able to do when it came to the stint for the Red Bulls earlier on. Tomasin with a nice and simple pass to move up into the lead. Viega just having a little look, sitting in behind both Mercedes together on the circuit. They're in third and in fourth position. You've got some side-by-side going on, I believe, between Carrera, or Light is coming into the pit lane, I should say. So Lighty coming into the pit lane. So that will be another pit stop that comes in for one of our contenders. Paul Adolphs and Aleski Carrera will go on once again around this circuit.
Certainly will, and you can see you have the train P1 to P6, whereas Paul Adolphs is still 4 seconds out of it. It was Booba who chose to box and go for a bit of a wild card, as we mentioned, slapping on those soft compounder tyres, seen a bit early, if I say so myself. But if you can make it halfway, maybe 13 laps is doable. Like I say, with that lighter car, doesn't burn away the tyres too much. But Alex Smith is having a little look on Alexander Damas. He's going to have to fall back in line, though. Doesn't have the traction coming out of Lovefield through Woodcourt. Everybody just slotting back into that train there. Nobody close enough for any potential overtakes. Maybe it's to come in Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Coming down towards Stowe with that DRS. Cameron Dowd, I expect to see just exchanging that P1 position for a little bit longer with Rens Tomasin until the pit stops are to come for those drivers.
On the hanger straight we go. Will there be any passes? Will there be any changes in the order? Viega getting close to Dowd, but these drivers just continuing on. They don't want to waste time. We've seen drivers come into the pit lane so far, so they don't want to waste time at this stage. Talking about coming into the pit lane, and that's going to be Tador Pressakan, who dives it in to make his mandatory pit stop as well as we come over the line once again. But yes, we've seen drivers come in, like we've just seen as well with Pressakan. You don't want to be wasting time. You don't want to be costing yourself time at this stage. But once the pit stops are done, it will be a brawl. It will be these drivers all fighting for it. And that's when the tactic games will come into play. Who's going to be where when we go on to the 26th and final tour? It's going to be incredible to see. Still loads of laps and still loads of action to come before that, as Sousa gets the fastest lap.
Expected to see on them fresh medium rubbers now. They're nice and warmed up. He's already done a lap and got them fired up, ready to go. A lot of pushing. Looking forward though. I don't know, when do you think they could box? Those mediums are still looking like they have plenty of life in them. Or maybe they're just running it nice and easy in that tyre management for trying to go a little bit longer before they need to cover off that potential undercut from Felipe Sousa. 12 seconds, 17, 19 seconds I'd say. Let's add it up. He's 20 seconds, 21 seconds away from Yannick Schmidt. So he's around a pit stop away, so it's going to be close for Sousa when those front runners pit. You can see the mediums still have the light, they still have the grip. Cameron Dowd's making the move now. This could be potential for the pit stop to come into play.
Indeed. And we are going to get them coming in to the pit lane. There we go. As we were talking about it, we were waiting and waiting to see when were they going to dive it in. The answer is right now. So all eyes, as you've brilliantly done, Corey with the camera, will go to Felipe Sousa, to Pressakan, to see where will they all filter out in comparison.
See Paul Adolphs going a lap longer as well as Oleg Napadovsky. So looking on now as they start to come down the pit lane. They're starting to drive and get out of their boxes. They still haven't hit that safety car line. Felipe Sousa goes fastest. He's just crossed the line. He is going to come down. He's going to pass them all. And he's going to get back into the lead. The net lead so far as Napadovsky and Paul Adolphs have yet to box off their tyres. We'll take a quick little look at the tyres there. You can see what is going on. Everybody now, apart from Sousa, Oleg Napadovsky, Paul Adolphs and Van Bussel, are on the softs. Walter Steg going long on the hards.
Absolutely, there is the move. Pressakan to the net race lead on this circuit. You've got Sousa, of course, on those medium compound of tyres as we mentioned. So he will now have the same pace. Now it's up to Dowd, Tomasin and all of those drivers in that train to use the advantage and to push on with the 1 lap fresher tyre they have compared to Pressakan to try and get themselves into this battle and to get themselves into the mix as well if they would like to be a contender in this race.
Ooh, things are looking to spice up a little bit now. So I wonder where this is going to place Napadovsky and Adolfs in terms of when they box. They're going to fall right down there, but you've got to think Van Bussel, Wojciech, they're quite far back in the field, but catching up ever so slowly. Wojciech was 18 seconds behind at one point. He's now only 6 seconds behind. But in terms of a race, those hard compound tyres, I don't think they're going to last like he wants them to. We see Paul Adolfs, Oleg Napadovsky, they're in the pits. Now's the time for them to filter out. We see the front two leading away. They will inherit the lead of the race as Paul Adolfs and Napadovsky start to drive down that pit lane. They will filter out at the back, it seems. Maybe just slotting ahead of Van Bussel.
Yep, that is exactly the case, as they will filter out, and we'll get to see as well in a few moments. 1.7 seconds is now the gap as Dowds tries to gain and get closer and closer. Felipe Sousa is just going to try and stick with Pressacan. With the DRS that you get along, you'll try use Pressacan as a bit of a carriage around this Silverstone circuit as we go on to the old start-finish straight with our top two in the race. Red Bull versus Mercedes down through Copse Corner.
I think Sousa could be the favourite one to watch for the victory. Cameron Dowds is 1.7 seconds behind as he's lost out on that from the pit stop strategies. The undercut working to Pressacan and Sousa's favour. It's Cameron Dowds now and must try and catch back up. He has dropped to 10th though, coming out of it with the tyre deficit, you know, with Felipe Sousa on the mediums, Dowds on the fresh softs. They have that extra life. Renz Tomassen pushes on through. Looks like Biega's going to bring a bit of a challenge to Dowds as well. He's going to send it to the inside line in Vale as we come down through Club now. It's Cameron Dowds losing out 2 positions, maybe even a third there. Alexander Damas, what a run. He's made it side by side, coming into the final turn and now towards Abbey will get ahead. That was beautiful for Damas.
Absolutely beautiful indeed. Close stuff at the end of the lap between those drivers. Dowds will try and recompose and try and go back on the attack as well, as we now make our way to lap number 17. Laps are ticking in this race. 1.1 second is the gap between Tomassen and Felipe Sousa. They are closing in. They are pushing up towards this battle. Well, we've got Carrera getting past and Tornolato also getting past Lighty as well. Now those guys are very close together, and our Ferrari's about to go side by side. I wonder, is Carrera about to do battle with Tornolato? We cut to it now, and it's going to be Lighty getting involved. So Lighty getting his way past Tornolato. Both Ferraris who've already been close today getting close once more as we go down to Copse Corner. That's going to be super tight, and commitment is there for Tornolato, which sees him claim the final position in the points as it stands.
Absolutely committed to defending that and not letting the Kick Sauber put any challenge onto his teammate. Tornolato doing well to sit there, but just running it wide there. Maybe losing out on the exit as he lost speed. He certainly has. Light. He's going to push on through, making it easy with that extra speed. He picked up a bit of drag on the grass, did that Ferrari, Tornolato. And now it's a Ferrari sandwich for Lighty.
So Felipe Sousa at the same time just hitting the front of the field as he was able to take the lead at the front. So the medium compound of tyres, he doesn't want to be left vulnerable for the rest of the field to try dive bomb. So a safe position at this stage could be P1 for him as well, because you are going to see the drivers in 3rd, 4th, 5th try and promote themselves just up the order that little bit more. As we see Cameron Dowds, let's see whether he can try and overtake and make some of those moves that he lost as he's side by side with the Alpine of Dimas. It's going to be super tight between the two of them. Is Dowds going to be able to make this move stick? It's super tight to contact. Dowds is going to try and run it all the way around the outside. The risk then is with Schmidt in behind as well. He cannot afford to lose a position. But at this stage, it's going to be all action. It's going to be all attack. Copse Corner coming up. The Haas thinking about it to the inside. Or will it be Yannick Schmidt to go around the outside? These two side by side. And it's going to be possibly Cameron Dowds dropping down. And it is going to be Cameron Dowds dropping down. He was trying to move up to 5th. Drops down to 7th instead.
Wow, brave from Yannick Schmidt there, the outside line of Copse Corner, leaving it out for no man, not even within an inch, leaving not even a millimetre. He was forcing Cameron Dowds to give him that position with that one. Brave moves, we love to see it. Elbows are out, we mentioned it earlier. Silverstone, beautiful for the overtakes that you can pull off. And it looks like we see more moves further down the field. Lighty, Paul Adolphs all fighting away. There was Alexi Cavera and Tonelato swapping round. Maybe team orders coming into play there. But it's still Lighty and Paul Adolphs fighting. And Paul Adolphs does get the upper hand.
Does get the upper hand indeed. That was a couple of great corners for Yannick Schmidt earlier on the last lap to make the move. And it is great to see him back in PSGL. It's great to see Cameron Dowds back on the PC side. And we're getting to some of those battles that we got a few seasons ago as well. Pressacan, Sounds are continuing to exchange at the front. Tomasin, Viega, these drivers will want to get themselves very, very shortly up to higher positions. As you can see, Tomasin is going to be super tight as we go down to Corpse Corner. Fast stuff coming up for the drivers, and then the hangar straight, and then comes an opportunity to try and make some moves, to try and go on the attack. Let's see whether that will be the case as we go through the fast corners now with Chapel Curve and onto the hangar straight. Let's see whether Tomasin can move up to second place in the race. He's out of the slipstream. Pressacan throwing the defensive shape. Is that going to mean that we're going to see a double overtake from Tomasin, who's got the inside line as we head towards Wales? It's going to be super tight between these two drivers. Diego will be trying to move up as well. Pressacan, though, is going to find himself moving up and moving through as he takes the lead. Tomasin in second, and then it's Sousa in P3.
Tomasin going for that double overtake. I think I may have seen a bit of a tyre hook between Tomasin and Pressacan there, maybe slowing him down and costing him a little bit of drag, which has caused the issues there. Look at that side-by-side Sousa under attack now from Marcel Biega. This leaving it out for no man. The action coming now early on. There's still 6 laps to go, but they want to secure that track position. Further back, Yannick Schmidt fighting away with Cameron Dowds as well, side-by-side. There's action everywhere up the field. Marcel Biega looking to get on through to make it up. Mercedes 1-2. Tomasin's having none of it. He's going to defend it like he's got a gun pointed to his head. So's Damaswa Sousa, Cameron Dowds and Yannick Schmidt. The action is all coming through Lovefields, and we may have a free wide moment coming down towards Copse Corner, but we don't. One driver backs out of it being smart. Felipe Sousa's pushed off the track there. Dowds goes through. He's still trying to fight with Yannick Schmidt, but eventually they took back into line for Maggots, Beckett and Chappell. Wow, brave, bold manoeuvres, spicy action coming your way.
We mentioned that it would boil over. This is exactly the moment as we're once again looking to see the move for the lead, and around the outside goes Renz Tomasin. Does Biega follow through as well? He's around the outside of his teammate. We've already seen the Ferraris be close together today. Now it's the Mercedes, and it's Pressacan still ahead as they go back to single file stuff, and they need to try and keep themselves in contention. We were getting very close to contact territory earlier on as well. We're on the 21st lap. The laps are ticking. It's going to get even more exciting from here to see who is going to take the race victory, but we're going to get a lot more battling coming in from these drivers, a lot more switching between them as they will try get into the best position before that 26th and final lap.
Absolutely, this is now essentially 5 laps remaining. It's all out for getting yourself set up for that end game. Make sure you have enough battery reserves in the tank. Make sure you haven't burnt out your tyres that much so that you can't fight on the last lap or defend. It could prove crucial. Maybe this is where we'll see the difference between the tyres. Who boxed early, who went that 1 lap longer, who has that little bit extra life to use to their advantage. Renz Tomasin looking to try and bridge a gap there, half a second clear. Pressacan trying to push on through Maggots and Beckett. Look at that, 6/10 now. Maybe Pressacan's trying to, maybe Pressacan recharging the battery there, losing the temp, choosing to, while Tomasin's trying to break the DRS.
Absolutely, selling the dummy in the background. That's late on the brakes from Cameron Dowds. Going one way for a moment, switching very late as well as he tried to catch out his rival. Now he's trying to go all the way around the outside, turning it to the inside. Can he turn it into P5? These two who've already gone side by side so far will do so again. Onto the Hamilton straight, and it's going to be Schmidt on top once more in this battle. But Dowds knows time is running out. He knows that he's got to go on the attack. He knows that he's got to make the move. Is he thinking about it to the inside? He definitely had a look. He was definitely trying to see whether the opportunity was there. and now he is going to go for it in the background. He once again went to the inside. Now there's going to be a chance onto the Wellington straight. We'll definitely be deploying some of the battery. Wait for the Haas to tuck out of the slipstream and send it to the inside as Schmidt turns in once again with the possession of 5th. No way through as it stands for Cameron Dowds, and he also has to think about Felipe Sousa. That's directly in behind.
Yes, he certainly does. This is where Sousa's going to start to capitalise as these scrap, lose out on time, not getting on that optimal racing line. Look at Yannick Schmidt though with a snap. Just barely keeping the back end going as he comes through Cop's corner, costing himself a little bit of time, but Dowds didn't gain as much either through there, maybe backing out in Cop's. The tyres starting to burn a little bit, he needs to try and preserve them as best possible for the final laps. We are only on lap 22, there's still 4 laps of racing to go, and it could prove crucial in the end. Nobody's close enough to swap a route just yet, they're all just waiting for that open door, waiting for an opportune line and a capitalistic manoeuvre to come their way. It wouldn't surprise me to see a through goes Hamilton moment with the battling that we've seen so far.
Wouldn't surprise me either, Corey. That's the way that these drivers have been going at it and will continue to go at it for the next few laps all the way till the checkered flag. Could it be a drag race to the line? We've had quite a bit of that this season, and are we going to add to that list? So Dowds this time around electing not to go for that little dive bomb. Both Mercedes still together, and they're still close as well as Biega looks to try and see whether he can set up a move on his teammate, but it stands still single file for them as they'll be waiting for the opportunity that comes down the hanger straight. But Biega really pushing his teammate at this stage. And what is Tomasin going to be able to do? The driver that has been on the podium once this season, can he now upgrade that, make it 2, and upgrade that all the way to a win as well in the final stages? Presscam will have something to say about it, so will Biega on these final few laps.
Absolutely. See the Mercedes working together, just making themselves known. This could be a Mercedes 1-2. Maybe they are communicating, maybe this is team tactics, or maybe they are scrapping out and at just similar pace at this stage. Looking at the back there, Yannick Schmidt closing up, Cameron Dowds maybe looking for an open door, just wasn't there for him yet. Oh, he's coming now though, he's going to go the long way around, he's looking for the outside line, goes Cameron Dowds on Yannick Schmidt. He's waited patiently for an open door, and he's made one open. He's sent it through, and he does get that move done and dusted. It's been a long time coming. Now he needs to set his sights on Damas. Does he have any sort of chance to scratch back a podium, as we've only got 3 laps to go, including this one?
Absolutely. Pressakan the winner from Shanghai. He got a second last time out. Let's see whether we can return back to the top step as well. Biega though, as you mentioned, very closely following his teammate. And we finally had the move come in from Cameron Dowds. An important move. And this time around, when he got to that part of the circuit, he was much more alongside to be able to get from the outside to the inside, all the way to 5th. Now the next driver is going to be Dimas, then the Mercedes, then your race leader, currently getting the 16 points, is Rens Tomasin, but he's got this entire field behind, as we still have 3 laps, including this one, to go. Now is the time for Dowds, for Schmidt, for Sousa to try and make some moves. It's going to be now or never as they try and get themselves in a position to win this race.
Absolutely, just as we get through to finish Sector 2, it's 2 1/3 laps remaining of this race. Everybody's just trying to set themselves up for that final lap, maybe even the penultimate lap. Is that your chance to make the moves, get on through? If you get on through on the penultimate lap, do you have the equipment, the resources, the know-how to defend it for an entire final lap? As Sousa's going to go for a move, he makes it side by side on Yannick Schmidt, but Yannick Schmidt defends it well. Slight contact with a rear wheel to the front wing of Sousa, but they stay on the track. They've just cost themselves a little bit of time. 8/10 gap to Cameron Dowds. Could we see a loss of DRS on the final lap?
Definitely could be the case. That's not what they wanted. They'll need to recover some time as well, as we're about to go on to the Wellington Straight. But yes, that was a major moment in the race. Sousa though had to go for the move. It's exactly what we were mentioning, that he has to now go on the charge. He now has to go on the attack. Is anyone else going to do it? Cameron Dowds thinking about the inside as he tries to move up past Dimas. Will he be able to go all the way around the outside and keep his foot in still? As we're going to go on to the old start-finish straight. He's going to be close, but he will not be by unless he's prepared to risk it. Into Cobb's corner. Do we see the Haas pull out, or does he decide to tuck in behind? Still tucking in behind, but these margins, Corey, are so close. It's all going to change right at the end of this race as we still try and work out who will be our victor.
Absolutely, you cannot put a definite on it yet. It could all change in the final lap. You could see positions change right now as we get out of Chapel Curve with that DRSA down towards Stowe. Is it the Mercedes that may scrap it? No, they won't. They stay tucked in line. This could be it for Cameron Dowds. He's had a beautiful run. He almost makes it side by side with Damas, but Damas has that favourable outside line. He looks for it now. He gets that inside line into Vale. He's done it before. He does it again. Cameron Dowds pulls off an outrageous overtake coming out of club, gets up into P4. Now it's all for the final lap. Can you get yourself close enough to those Mercedes and challenge them for a podium position?
That will be the question. Brilliance from Cameron Dowds to gain another position. Can he go on the attack even more? Can he gain some further positions? Tomasin has the lead. Both Mercedes pair are directly in behind. Dowds will need more extraordinary moments like that if he wants to go on and take this win. It's all to be decided. It's all still to be won as Tomasin navigates his way through. Mercedes pair still are in behind. They are going to get a huge opportunity come the checkered flag if they can remain close. The Cops corner coming up will be so vital, so important. It's 2 tenths. The opportunity is going to be there for Pressakan to win once again and extend his championship lead. Maggots and Beckett are going to be so vital in who wins this. They navigate their way through. The Williams at the front, the Mercedes chasing in behind. Let's see whether Pressakan can get the exit. The rear wing will go open. He'll get the opportunity to try and make the move. The Williams will be breaking the slipstream, and here comes Pressakan pulling to the outside. It won't be too much of a contest into the braking zone. He's gonna do it around the outside as Pressakan is on his way to win the race and extend his championship lead unless Tomasin can fight back.
Cameron Dowds is going to send it. He's going to try and do it again. 2 laps in a row. Can he pull it off? He's going to pull it off for the final podium position. On the last lap, he takes it. Cameron Dowds secures that P3. Wachuna Pressakan takes the victory and extends that championship lead. Rens Tomasin P2. But Cameron Dowds again with an outrageous move in Vale pulls it off to secure that final podium position. Oh my word. What a race. Biega lines up 4th. Damas, Yannick Schmidt, Felipe Salza, Paul Adolphs, Alexi Cavero and Lighty doing your top 10. Buber, Tornalato, Oleg Napadowski and Wojciech Steg doing your finishing order. And we have 5 drivers, Labella, Miles, Lamanen, Ryan Grob, Linus Donovan and Jerry Van Bussel. Well, Van Bussel I think finished but has left a bit early and has qualified as a DSQ. I'm not sure what's happened there, but 5 drivers did not finish this Grand Prix. And that was what a way to finish it for Cameron Dowds. Oh my word.
Yes, absolutely. Cameron Dowds, well, yes, Pressakan is your winner, but Dowds getting all of the attention right at the checkered flag, even though you thought the winning moment will get it all right at the end. But Dowds with a late attack, and he's just absolutely fantastic. It's unbelievable the way that he's able to put in these performances. It is so good. It's so good to have him back here with us on the PC side, impressing us with his skills once again and fighting his way through again on the last lap. That was absolutely phenomenal to get himself up to 3rd position. If he wanted to win, he needed to be a little bit more higher up, but with these circumstances, it was to absolute perfection.
Oh, the way Cameron must have figured something out during that race. Just when he's going into Vale, he can just tap the power a little bit and get that jolt to make it side by side before you get into turn 17. He did it 2 laps in a row. He figured that out. He knew exactly that he had the tyre grip to do it. He had the tyre life, the know-how and the knowledge to do it, and the skill to pull off those overtakes. That was crazy stuff. That he just had a much better line through Vale and was able to pull off these overtakes. Insane. And I think he knew that was coming, and that's what's given him that final podium position. With a call for Tudor Pressakan to take another victory and extend that championship lead there. Rens Tomasin, P2, Cameron Dowds, P3. You can see the official finishing order here on your screen. Unofficial, should I say, until we get our stewarding done and dusted and out of the way. Biega 4th, Damas, Yannick Schmidt, Salza, Paul Adolphs, Alexi Cavero and Lighty doing the top 10. And of course, Buber, Tornalato, Napadowski and Steg. And I think Van Bussel did finish, but disconnected or left the session, which does give you that DSQ, finishing the Grand Prix in 15th. Everybody else down the order, or Wojciech Steg was 15th, and Van Bussel left too early. But That is your finishing order, and we shall move on to the interviews to see who would like to have a quick little chat about their race. Apologies for that. For some reason, he went to the wrong screen. He went to the starting screen. I have a stream deck set up, so obviously that's clearly set up to the wrong scene at the moment. But I pressed the interview button and it took us to the starting screen. But let's wait and find out to see who we have joining us. We do have Cameron Dowds. We can wait to see if anybody else shall be joining us, but we do have Cameron Dowds in the interview room, and rightly so, because I want to have a word about those overtakes going into Vale, to say the least. That was outrageous stuff. Tudor Pressica is also going to join us. We will get on with you, Cameron. Actually, we'll wait to see who else is to come in to pull off a last lap move, second to last corner, to secure that P3 position. That was amazing stuff, and qualifying as well. I think you qualified P3 there, if I'm not mistaken, getting yourself in a good spot. Beautiful race from yourself, securing that P3 finish. So it's literally qualify P3, finish P3. Certainly be happy with that one.
To be honest, I think the win could have easily been on the cards today. It was just a simple mistake of trying to let Renz pass, and then Marcel overtook me, and then I think he just messed the apex and went straight into me. So then I lost 2 or 3 more places than I should have, which just put me completely on the back foot. And then just using ERS in the wrong place just put me vulnerable to Yannick, who then overtook me. And then I was down in 7th, and I had no idea how I'd get back up to the top 3 or 4, but I just gave it my all and managed to make a few nice moves.
No, as well in Vale. What is that? Where were you able to get that line? Did you just have a better line, or slower in, faster out, something like that coming into Vale? Because you was making it side by side very easily into 17, into turn 17. Beautiful stuff. Nice to see 2 laps in a row pulling off overtakes there. So was it just a level head, push as hard as you can and try and gain back those positions?
Yeah, definitely. I knew that I had a really good run out of stall every lap, and then I was just able to kind of dummy people into going to the inside, and then the outside line's quite good at Vale, so I knew that if you can claim the inside, then it's just quite easy to get the move done. So that's why I just chose to do the overtakes, and it turned out quite well.
Beautiful stuff. Love to see it. Omi, any questions from yourself?
Well, no questions for myself, but a great performance. Great to see those moves at the end, and cannot wait to see what you come up with at Singapore next time out.
Yep, thank you.
Beautiful stuff from Cameron Dow, securing P3. That's 2 podiums in 2 races. Wins in Austria, takes P3 here at the British Grand Prix in Silverstone. But we do have your race victor joining us as well. Tudor Pressican taking another 16 points and extending his championship lead. It's looking like it could be your time to shine, my friend. How are you feeling after that one? Certainly had the qualifying pacing in the race, managing to convert it. Are you enjoying all the scraps and fights?
Well, yeah, in quali is just not it for me. I don't know. I have like very good PBs, but somehow in session I just don't pick. So yeah, I just need to work on that. But yeah, in the race, it was really good today. I didn't risk it too much with the moves like I did in other rounds, so I just went for slightly safer moves, let's say. And yeah, I just managed the gap to P1 to Rens on the last 5-6 laps, and just overtook on the last lap, and that's it.
Well, it was beautiful stuff, and you did manage to secure that victory there. So another 16 points to add to the table, extending the championship lead. Is that what you're going for? All pushing now for that victory. It's looking like it could be going in your favour.
Well, yeah, that was the goal since the start of the season. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to be in this position and with this lead, and I'll just continue to do the same things as I did for the next 3 rounds.
One last thing from me before I pass you on to Army for anything from him. The team orders. Are there any team communications going on there between you and Biega? Both Mercedes running quite high up in the order there throughout quite most of the race. They seem to be. I don't know whether you was using each other's DRS to try and stay in the pack there. Is there communication going on there?
No. With Marcel, no, because we are in different teams, obviously. I mean, Veloci and he's in FVR, so yeah, no team orders, but somehow we got to get together like in every lap. So yeah, that's it.
Oh, and on to Orme. Congratulations, mate. Another victory under the belt and further extends that championship lead.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations as well. Singapore, Mexico, and Abu Dhabi coming up. What type of circuits are they for you? Are you quite good at them, or is there going to be a bit of practice needed as you try and maintain this championship gap?
I mean, even if you are good at a track, you still need to practice. So I'll just practice the same as I did in every race, and yeah, see where I end up.
Lovely stuff. Well, congratulations, and we cannot wait to see what you manage at Singapore next time out.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, lovely. Another round done and dusted here in PSGL F3. And a quick little word from our drivers. Congratulations on Cameron Dowds, looking to be a force to be reckoned with as he comes back here in F3 on the PC side. So we'd love to see that. He's taken a victory, 2 podiums on the bounce, but no, it's all just rest and relax. The drivers get themselves prepared and practice for Singapore next week. Same place, same time. You love to see it, and we love to be a part of it. And of course, as always, it's been a pleasure, and we shall see you in a week's time.